was just a little china bird, sort of a yellowy blue pattern on it. I don't think it's worth anything. The reality is that most of these people have been completely abandoned by their families, usually their children. If a mother abandons her children, it's scandalous. But if a son or daughter abandons their mother when she's dying after everything she's done for them, apparently that's just normal. I can protect my patients from that, even if it does take a little smoke and mirrors. Ask me something else. That one's a dud. That doesn't really matter. Let's talk about something else. Dr. Dekker's mother. She was one of my first patients, but she died a while ago. I've been a nurse for ages, but I've only worked at the nursing home for the last year. I tend to move around quite a bit. I get quite fidgety if I stay in the same place too long. I can't remember exactly. I'd only just started seeing Dr. Dekker. Well, I wasn't sure if it would still work, sorry. It's just, I get a sense that I probably shouldn't say, but, well, just think what it would mean for you if I'd been able to shift. I've got her on a herbal compound, St John's wort for pain, ginkgo for bronchitis, valerian, borage. There's a few other things in there as well, but I won't bore you with the full ingredients. It's probably nothing. I'm not right all the time. It's just, well, yes, your energy's different. And I was also worried about what I might change into. It's like I'm a mirror and I'm just reflecting back to them what they want to see. I completely change. My face, my hair, my clothes, my voice, everything. No. I've had a couple of bad experiences while shifting. I don't really want to talk about all that now, though. I'm sure it is. At the very least, it should make her feel more comfortable, ease her suffering. The rules are that you're not supposed to give a patient anything that isn't on their charts. But I talked it over with Hilda first, and she was happy to try the herbal approach. Is that really what you want to talk about? Hilda's nearing the end. She's been sleeping a lot, not eating much. I wasn't really stressed about work. Well, maybe a little, but not enough to need a therapist. I just told you that because I didn't want you to know the real reason why I came to see Dr. Dekker. It seems a bit, I don't know, murky and sort of a bit crackly at the same time. Like there's a lot of electricity around you. It's hard to describe. It's fine. It's not going to hurt her. And the doctors at the home don't care much. They're hardly around anyway. It's the nurses that take care of the patients. Besides, Dr. Dekker didn't have a problem with it. We talked about it once. He said I should do what I wanted and not worry about what anyone else thought. Absolutely. I'm not being big-headed or anything, but I'd do anything for my patients. Hilda's nearing the end. I wasn't the plan. I've had a couple of bad experiences while shifting. Dr. Dekker's mother. It's probably nothing. I'm not right all the time. Oh, okay. Well, I'd have to check. I have it written down somewhere.
My neighbours seem far more interested in my business than they are their own. The lake house only has one house opposite, and it was on sale for some time. I suppose I should have bought it. Perhaps. Perhaps I missed his vital organs. Perhaps by some strange freak of nature he only appeared dead for a week and needed no food or water. Though there was an autopsy, so it's not likely. I think he was definitely dead. Yes, the father and daughter who live opposite will have seen him, I'd imagine, although they won't have talked to him. If anyone approaches him other than me, David would run a mile. The sociable part of his brain must have died in that week too. I think it was a mistake taking Dr. Dekker to see David. Dr. Dekker wanted to examine him, so they went into a different room. I wasn't worried. David wouldn't speak. But Dr. Dekker seemed very distant after that. He didn't say a word on the way back.
I'm fine. I'm ready for my grief counselling. I emailed you Mariana's address. I don't know why you'd want it. I suppose you're going to start doing home visits now, like Dr. Dekker? Doctor, if you don't want it, don't text me and ask for it. It's all right. I don't mind doing menial tasks for you. Someone has to do them. Some mornings I come into work and still expect him to be here. Sometimes it feels like he actually is here, watching over me. We had a connection. It's gone now, though. You can't have a connection with the dead, can you? Not for too long, anyway. Yes, Dr. Dekker started doing home visits for Mariana. He said she couldn't concentrate properly in his office. I hope you're not thinking of doing the same thing. I need you right where I can see you. Checks and balances, Doctor. Somebody needs to be watching the watchman, so to speak. Make sure you're helping, not hindering. Grief is such a strange word if you keep saying it. Grief, grief, grief. It sounds like somebody's being whipped. And you're going to ask me how I feel today? Dr. Dekker asked me to have dinner with him for Valentine's. I refused, obviously, because you don't sleep where you eat or something like that. But it was flattering, especially with competition like Mariana around. Sorry, I didn't mean I was competing. I was happy Mariana was going out with him. I didn't want to be romantic with him. We had a stronger connection than that. I was at home on my lonesome, Doctor, like I said before. Dr. Dekker and I shared some philosophy. We'd both read The Cult of the Kinetic Mind, and we agreed with a lot of what it said. Have you read that book, Doctor? In Cult of the Kinetic Mind, the author suggests that everyone is capable of psychokinesis and that the cult leaders specifically had these powers that turned their followers into disciples. It's not a fun read, but if you're into psychology, it's a blast. He probably did his fair share of helping and hindering. He was definitely helping in the beginning, but then seemed to lose sight of things. I think he was so overwhelmed by the patients he was getting. His curiosity just got the better of him. There was a definite turning point. Somewhere around the time Professor Alderby turned up, that seemed to unsettle him. And then we had a flood of extra weird patients. I think it was all too much for him. I think I misjudged him. I hope you deal with it better. I think that's all settled now. We are agreeing to pay Ben £5,000 and he's agreeing not to say anything about what he saw. He thought he saw a creature coming out of Dr. Dekker's mouth. Well, at least that's the reason he's given for not emptying the bins that night. Either way, it's not the kind of publicity that we need. Shiny, happy, sane people. Psychokinesis is the ability to change the physical world without actually touching it, just by using your mind. It's not just about bending spoons. It covers all sorts of things like telepathy, telekinesis, telesabalas. Shoot me, I'm a Kojak fan. It's in that police report that I gave to you. You should really take a look at it. Like I said, all those cool things are in Cult of the Kinetic Mind, apart from Kojak, obviously. If you ever get a patient who thinks they can change the world with just their mind, then duck, just in case they can. But seriously, do a whole load of shrinking and make them better. Whether you believe in psychokinesis or not, you'll need to figure out your approach with those that do. No, not at all in my experience. Dr. Dekker had an unusual number of patients who claimed psychokinesis. Either he'd been specifically looking for them or someone had been sending them. How do you make people who think they have special powers better? Do you remain passive and support, encourage them, take them away? Things could escalate. Building trust is one thing, but at what cost? It's entirely possible that someone is targeting this practice with psychokinetic patients. To what end, I don't know. It's no coincidence that most psychokinetic patients are diagnosed as insane or at least temporarily insane. It's a handy diagnosis if you're facing criminal prosecution, especially if it's for murder. Honestly, I think Dr. Dekker had a bit of a crush on Mariana, or vice versa. I'm not really sure. There's some footage from their home sessions if you want to see them. That was a joke, Doctor. I guess we found our level. Oops, that was a strange thing to say, wasn't it? Whipped. Am I all whips and chains in the bedroom or dominant in the boardroom? Don't answer that, it's not a question. It's early days for a harassment suit yet, what with Ben's nervous shock already. Dr. Dekker did send me to see his mother once. She was dying in a nursing home and he didn't want to see her. I remember him calling her a manipulative, evil old hag. You tend not to ask any more questions after that. I didn't really speak to Nathan that much at all, but I have this strange feeling that I know him really well. I can't quite put my finger on it. I didn't really speak to Nathan that much at all, but I have this strange feeling that I know him really. No, that's not it. There's just a lot of crazy flying around, Doctor. Don't catch any of it. Followers and disciples have a very strong tie to their cult leaders, almost like they've been brainwashed. The author suggests that this is because they've witnessed some kind of psychokinesis, like pyrokinesis or telekinesis. I'm a bit of a bookworm. I'm one of those annoying, constantly self-improving, overachieving types. Takes one to know one, eh, Doctor? No, as far as I know, Mariana was the only patient that Dr. Dekker did home visits for. Most of the patients you're seeing have claimed some kind of psychokinesis. If you don't think that's the case, then they just haven't told you yet. I have no idea what they did and when they did it. I'm happy to keep it that way too. Well, maybe someone sneaked your phone during a session and texted. I know they all look innocent, but if it's not nailed down, there's a good chance they'll walk away with it. You know, I used to have an iPad and a Surface. Yes, psychology. I think you'll find it's relevant, Doctor.
Professor Warwick, I'm a physicist. Where's Dr. Dekker? Is he really? Actually dead? Not a worthy adversary after all, then? Dr. Dekker challenged me. He tried to use my theories against me. Quantum theories. Do you really want to know? Dekker's eyes used to glaze over whenever we talked about that. He didn't believe in quantum physics. As if it's something that you can optionally believe in. Well, it started with an experiment. Have you heard of quantum suicide, Doctor? Well, then I'll be brief. According to the laws of quantum suicide, if I were to shoot myself now, then one branch of my timeline would result in my death, whilst the other in my continued existence. I simply applied that logic to something different. Gambling. I set up an experiment whereby I would visit a casino and place a very large bet at the roulette table. Now, I would always bet on odd. Now, the results of this particular experiment were mundane. I won as many times as you would expect according to the laws of probability, but then I changed a parameter. Why not gambling? My wife Vanessa left me for a neurosurgeon. She emptied our entire combined wealth into her barrister's wallet. I needed more money. Physics provided me with a solution. We were married for 14 years, 7 months and 3 days. Vanessa couldn't have children, at least that's what she told me. She grounded me in reality. I'm not complaining. It's probably what I needed. But part of me always thought that one day I'd achieve immortality through science and we'd be... It wasn't to be, though. Well, yes, it bothered me, especially now that I find out that she's pregnant. Oh, no, it wasn't a rocket scientist that was required, but a brain surgeon, it seems. I have considered putting that neurosurgeon onto his darkest timeline, but I'm not a killer. It would seem. Quantum suicide required a loss of life to make it a realistic thought experiment. So I simply upped the stakes. Every time I bet on odd, I would place everything I had on that one spin of the wheel, and it worked. Well, for a while. Dr. Dekker killed it, and I can't get it back. Well, my theory, quantum gambling. If the stakes are high enough, you will win every time by simply shifting your consciousness into that branch that wins. It's tricky, but it can be done. Dr. Dekker didn't like that. He saw me becoming rich and powerful, and he hated that. That's why he proffered the hangman's paradox. Well, imagine a judge sentences you to death. Now, it will be Monday or Tuesday next week, but it will be a surprise. Well, which day do you think you'll be executed? Well, it can't be Tuesday, because if you're still alive on Monday at midnight, then you know you'll be executed on Tuesday, so it won't be a surprise. Conversely, it can't be Monday either, because, well, you'll be expecting it to be Monday by deduction. Hence, a paradox. Dr. Dekker tricked me. He told me that sometime in the future I would lose a bet, that I would lose all of my money. Now, this didn't seem likely because I had quantum gambling on my side and it was working. But he unnerved me. He made me doubt myself. And then it happened. Recently, I lost everything that I'd managed to build up since Vanessa left me. Honestly? Well, I think he feared quantum physics. He didn't like things being explained in terms of science, almost as if he'd have preferred chaos. I was at a fundraiser for a charity called Mindstretch Outreach. Don't know how I got roped into that, I can't remember. But it was full of very clever children with bizarre outlooks on life. And Jaya. It was Jaya who asked me to go. It's full of poor kids with very capable minds. I did give them a talk on quantum tunneling once, and they loved it. Not sure it'll put dinner on the table for any of them, though. going to have to Google that, Doctor, I'm afraid. I'm not a walking Wikipedia. I'd love to tell you, but I am paying you by the hour. Maybe look up Schrodinger's cat whilst you're there. Oh, she's Dr. Dekker's lovely assistant. I imagine she's your lovely assistant now. Yeah, she always smiles and makes me a cup of tea before a session. That smile. Which reminds me, my session. Can we talk about my problem now? I'm not a gambler, Doctor. I'm a scientist. I need more money. It's true I've run out of money for my research. An opportunity has arisen. Quantum gambling. It's a pet project. It's got nothing to do with work. But if I don't have significant amounts of money to lose, then there won't be enough jeopardy for the experiment to work. A very wealthy group of individuals have offered to pay me a very large sum of money if I attend their next private soiree. They don't want a talk or anything like that. They want a practical demonstration. They'll pay me £1 million if I can successfully survive 6 rounds of Russian roulette. Now, I am worried because of what Dr. Dekker said, but, well, I can't help but thinking that the stakes are so high I can't possibly lose. What do you think, Doctor? Should I take them up on their offer? Well, the Ministry of Defense, of course. Guns aren't going to win the next war. Quantum physics is. No, I suppose you're right. In a darker timeline, you probably said yes, and I'm dead now. I earn good money where I work. How do I stop losing it? I take your point. But I suppose to decide whether to continue gambling or to stop gambling is a gamble within itself, isn't it? Well, my time is up. Will we be having another session or... No, don't answer that. It'll turn you into a gambler like me. Infectious, isn't it?
A few weeks ago. It's still sinking in. I suppose living a lie is just the norm nowadays.